Hello everyone. I share real stories that I know and I'm sure you will like them. Enjoy watching and don't forget to like.
My husband kissed me goodbye at 6:12 a.m. sharp. By 9:47 p.m., someone else was at the door. He didn't say his name, but he didn't have to. My name is Rachel. I'm 46, and I've been married to Greg for, well, long enough that I don't say I love you anymore. I just make his coffee how he likes it. Black. No sugar. No cream. No conversation. We live in suburban New Jersey, in a house I picked but don't feel at home in. It's always cold, even when the heat's on. Quiet, even when the TV's blaring. It used to be the kind of silence I enjoyed, peaceful, familiar. Now it just feels like waiting. For what? I couldn't tell you. Greg's in finance, which means he travels a lot and talks a little. When he's home, he's not. You know the type. Buttoned up, reliable, never late, never loud, never present. He leaves his shoes by the door, his suitcase by the stairs, and me somewhere in between. We don't fight. We don't kiss. We just operate. But 3 weeks ago, he got a new client out west. For days in Denver. I smiled, told him to take a sweater, and waved from the porch like a good wife. I even watched the car disappear down the driveway. I always do. I just didn't expect someone else to come back up it. The first time I saw him, it wasn't even about him. It was about the leaky faucet. That damn kitchen sink that dripped every 6 seconds. Drip, drip, drip like a countdown. I'd finally had enough and called the plumbing company. They said someone could come that evening. I didn't ask who. I didn't care. But when the knock came and I opened the door, there he was. Tall, a little unshaven. Dust on his boots. Maybe mid-30s, hard to tell. He had the kind of face that wasn't handsome in a magazine way, but in a real way. Lived in. Smirking, but not arrogant. Honest eyes. He didn't flinch when he looked at me. Rachel Collins, he asked. I nodded. I'm Mason. Here for the sink. Just his voice, it was lower than I expected. Calm. Unrushed. Like nothing could ever really rattle him. He stepped inside, his boots clicking gently against the tile. He carried his tool bag in one hand and something else I couldn't quite name in the other. Not attraction. Not yet. But attention. It had been a long time since someone looked at me like I was more than background. Mason didn't talk much at first. Just got to work under the sink. I watched from the kitchen table, pretending to scroll through my phone. But I couldn't stop glancing. Every time he stood, every time he reached for a wrench, every time his shirt lifted just enough to show the edge of something stronger beneath. I was watching a man move with purpose. I couldn't remember the last time I saw that. Certainly not from Greg. He asked me where the water shutoff valve was. I took him to the basement. He flicked on the light and walked ahead. I followed, and for a moment, in the dusty glow of that single bulb, I saw the muscles in his forearms tense as he twisted the valve. Just hands, just motion. But it stirred something. After a while, we started talking. Nothing big. Weather. Traffic. He asked how long we'd lived here. 18 years, I said. Must feel like home. I hesitated. Some days. He glanced at me. Just once. But I felt it. Some places aren't about the house, he said. They're about who's still knocking. I didn't know what he meant. Or maybe I did. He finished the job quickly. Said the faucet was just loose, but that the whole fixture was outdated. Offered to order a replacement if I wanted. Your call, he added, leaning on the counter. Not every woman minds a little dripping. I laughed. Too loudly. I was blushing, and I never blush. He noticed. Of course he did. When Mason left, I watched from the window as he walked back to his truck. He didn't look back, but something told me he knew I was still watching. The next day, he texted. New faucet came in. I can swing by tonight if that works. I didn't reply right away. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. But something inside me, a whisper, a flicker, whatever you want to call it, pressed send. 7:30 p.m. He was right on time. This time, he didn't knock. He just stood there, waiting, like he knew I'd already opened the door long before I turned the handle. We didn't say much. I made tea. He worked quietly. I stayed in the kitchen this time, closer. I watched him work in silence. The air between us thickened, stretching tighter with every glance, every breath that lingered just a second too long. At one point, he turned suddenly, and we were just there, inches apart. His hand brushed mine as he passed me the wrench. Neither of us moved. Neither of us blinked. Then, from somewhere down the hall, my phone buzzed. A FaceTime from Greg. I stared at the screen, frozen. Mason didn't say a word. He just watched me. The call rang out. I didn't answer. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel married. I woke up before the sun. The sheets were cold, but my skin was burning. I sat at the edge of the bed, staring at the floor, still wearing the oversized t-shirt I'd had on the night before. His scent lingered in the fabric, oil, leather, rain. Mason never touched me that night. Not truly, but something had changed. He saw me, and that alone was a betrayal. I made coffee with shaking hands. Black, no sugar, just how Greg liked it. Out of habit. The absurdity hit me as the machine gurgled to life. I had one foot in two lives, and the floor between them was cracking. I told myself I hadn't done anything. Not really, but my heartbeat said otherwise. My reflection in the window stared back, unfamiliar and ashamed. And beneath it all, there was a spark I hadn't felt in years. Desire, guilt, power. It scared me, and I couldn't look away. Mason started finding reasons to return. The faucet wasn't the only thing outdated, he joked one evening. Maybe he was talking about the bathroom fixture. Maybe he was talking about my marriage. I didn't laugh, but I didn't stop him either. He'd text me in the middle of the day. Thinking about you. Drove past your street. Had to keep going. Dreamt of your kitchen. Only the kitchen was on fire. It was emotional. Intimate. We never crossed the line, but we weren't exactly on solid ground either. I stopped wearing my wedding ring at home. Not because I wanted to forget, I wanted to remember exactly what I was risking. One night, I asked Mason if he wanted tea. We sat on the couch, an arm's length apart. His boots left faint marks on the rug. I could hear the wind outside. My fingers were wrapped around the mug like it was the only thing anchoring me. He leaned back, eyes on the ceiling. "Do you think he knows?" he asked. I paused. "No. He's busy." Mason turned his head to look at me. Busy doesn't mean blind. I looked away, but he was right. And still, I let him stay. Another night, it rained. Heavy, relentless. I texted. If you knocked right now, I'd open. 2 minutes later, I heard it. A knock. I opened the door, barefoot, breathless. There he was, soaked, silent. He stepped inside. I closed the door behind him. He didn't touch me, but his eyes did. We sat in the kitchen again. No tea this time, just silence. We talked about nothing and everything. He told me he used to be married once. She said I didn't talk enough. Funny, right? I laughed softly. I don't need words, I said. He looked at me like that meant something more. And maybe it did. When he left that night, I didn't watch from the window. I couldn't, because a part of me wanted to run after him. Greg came home 2 days later. Same routine. Same suitcase by the stairs. Same kiss on the cheek. But something felt wrong. He brought me my favorite wine, complimented my dress, even asked how my week had been. It was too much. I tried to pretend. I smiled. I poured the wine. I asked about Denver. He said, cold, empty, quiet. I nodded, but his eyes didn't leave mine, not for a second. That night, I tossed in bed while Greg snored beside me. My phone buzzed. A message from Mason. Missed the rain last night. I didn't reply. I couldn't, because something was unraveling. I felt it in my bones. The next morning, I went to take the trash out. When I opened the bin, I saw something strange. An empty wrapper. Chocolate. The same brand Mason had eaten in his truck, in the photo he once sent me. My heart dropped. I didn't buy that. Greg doesn't eat sweets. And that wrapper wasn't there before he came home. I stood there, holding the trash lid, my hand trembling. He knew. I ran inside, straight to the hallway closet. Pulled down the router box where our smart doorbell footage saved. Something I hadn't checked in months. I opened the app, scrolled through. There it was. The clip. A Thursday night. 9:47 p.m. Me, opening the door. Mason, standing in the rain. He steps inside. The door closes. No sound. Just 27 seconds of silence. Greg had watched this. Of course he had. He probably watched it over and over. He hadn't confronted me. He hadn't yelled. He'd done something worse. He'd waited. That night, he didn't come to bed. I heard him moving around downstairs, opening drawers. Then silence. The next morning, he made me breakfast. Pancakes, even. Just like we used to, he said, smiling. He kissed my temple. And I wanted to scream. Because now I knew this wasn't forgiveness. This was foreplay. A prelude to war. Then I smelled it. Perfume. Not mine. Sweet. Floral. Expensive. It clung to his collar like lipstick on a glass. He didn't say anything. Neither did I. I found a single, long, red hair on his coat sleeve the next day. I'm blonde. I confronted him 3 nights later. Who is she? I asked quietly. He didn't blink. I don't ask who he is. Don't insult us both by pretending. My throat burned. So that's it? We're just... What? Even? Greg leaned in. No. You crossed a line. I erased it. It's been 3 weeks. Mason doesn't come around anymore. Greg doesn't travel. He watches me now. Closely. Not like a husband. Like a warden. Like someone guarding a secret he already knows. We sleep in the same bed. Say the right things. But the silence is louder than ever. I still make his coffee. Black. No sugar. He drinks it in silence. Smiling like a man who knows he won. And me? I still check the door some nights. Still listen for that knock that never comes. And sometimes I wonder, if I opened that door again, would it be Mason? Or just the wind? He left the camera on. I left the light on, but neither of us is coming home.